may be singing, maybe preaching, maybe teaching, maybe administration. It may be a host of things. Whatever you'll give, it may be chattiness. You don't use it for the honor and glory of God, He may take it away from you. And then we wonder why God's not blessing us. We're not sacrificing our time, our treasures, and our talents to Him. So when we start talking about giving, folks get nervous. They get to put their hand on the billfold. Then you know, a lot of men got little buttons. They got little buttonholes on their back pocket. And I'm not going to turn around and let y'all see mine. But I got a button there, and I can button that, and my wife will have a hard time getting my billfold out. Even my kids will have a hard time getting my billfold out. What we do is we lock our button down and don't give it back to God. See, we start talking about that giving, people get nervous. People like to be left alone to give as they please. Now, I can understand that, because what you give is between you and God, not between you and me.
That's right.
I'm not going to come to Brother Dan and say, how much you give this week? Dan probably look at me and say, well, that's none of your business, is it? I don't want to know what he gives. I don't want to stand up here and look and go, so-and-so's here, they don't tithe. So-and-so's over there, and they gave $1 last week. Martha said, so-and-so gave 50 cents. They thought the service was 50 cents worth. See, we need to realize what we give is in proportion to our worship. If we worship God, we'll realize everything we've got belongs to Him anyway.
Amen.
And if everything belongs to Him, while we're trying to hold on to it, you know, when we pass away, whatever's in our hands is going to be pried out. We ain't going to take it with us. It's going to be left behind. We're going to go with open hands. Some people argue that tithing is an Old Testament concept. Melchizedek, before the law ever come about, Abraham was giving 10th to Melchizedek. And by the way, if you really wanted to get technical, 10% not mentioned in the New Testament is grace giving. Amen. Above 10%. Gets real quiet when you're talking about money and giving and sharing what God's blessing. God's going to continue blessing us if we're really ready and willing to worship God with what He's blessed us with.
Amen.
So 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 2. And according to that verse, our giving is to be in proportion to our income. I thank God we've got some good givers here.
Amen.
We do. We got some good givers. I want you to take this hand. Y'all do it all. Right hand. The other hand, sure. Take your right hand. I want you to kind of lean on your head. Pat some on back. We've got some good givers here. Y'all have blessed me. You've blessed the church. We're looking at a building project, and we're praying that God will bless. We're looking at what God's doing, and I believe we've got some good givers here.
Amen.
That's why I don't preach on money unless God leads me into the next thing. But you know, He has promised to bless those who give and curse those who withhold their giving. Malachi chapter 3. He's going to bless those who give, and He's going to curse those who get greedy.
That's right.
And you say, well, that 10% is tithe of the Lord. He doesn't command us to do that. He doesn't command us to give. If you really believe the tithe is the Lord, then you have no right to keep it. To hoard it up or use it for your own desires. In fact, if you ever find yourself in a church that is so far out of God's will that you can't support it, you need to leave it.
Yeah.
If you can't support what they're doing, you need to leave it. You know, my mama buried out there in the graveyard. Well, she can get up, she'd leave too. So the tithe is the Lord. You say, I can't skip tithe. Well, there's a Greek word for that. Hogwash. Amen. Y'all didn't know I was preaching on tithing today. I'm ready to get he's going to preach on Christmas. This is part of Christmas. This is the time to give. We give to one another, but what are we giving back to God? What are we giving to our King? What are we bringing before Him? What are we doing for our God? A lot of of people like this man in this story. Once upon a time, there was a man who had nothing, and God gave him 10 apples. He gave him the first 3 apples to eat. He gave him the second 3 apples to trade for shelter from the sun and the rain. And he gave him the third 3 apples to trade for clothing to wear. And he gave him one last apple so that he might have something to give back to God to show his gratitude for the other 9 apples. So the man ate the first 3 apples. He traded the second 3 apples for shelter from the sun and the rain. He traded the third 3 apples for clothing to wear. And then he looked at that 10th apple. It seemed bigger. It seemed juicier than the rest. He knew that God had given him that 10th apple so that he might return it to him out of gratitude for the other 9, but that 10th apple didn't look so good. It looked bigger. It looked juicier than all the other 9. And he reasoned that God had all the other apples in the world, so what did the man do? He ate the 10th apple. He didn't give anything back to God, and then when he got done eating it, all he gave to God was the corn. Is that like some of us? Oh, me. Early in their marriage, Billy and Ruth Graham was visiting church when Billy was preaching. During the offering, an usher came to the platform and pushed the offering plate in front of the guest evangelist. Billy reached for his wallet, poured out what he thought was a dollar bill. And as he dropped it into the plate, he saw that it was his one and only $10 bill. His heart sank as he saw the bulk of his financial resources disappearing into the church coffers. To further complicate matters, the church treasurer failed to give him an honorarium for his service that evening. On the way home, he told Ruth what had happened. Instead of sympathizing, she said this, and just think, the Lord would give you credit for only $1 because that's all you meant to give. Ruth Graham she was a sassy lady. See, more of your time, more of your talent, more of your time. God is really interested in having all of you. Not just a small portion, not just 10%. He wants all of you. And if we give God all of us, that means He owns everything we own.
That's right.
That means all we've got belongs to Him. And if we give it to Him, He may take what we've got and bless it. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm not a prosperity gospel preacher. I'm not going to tell you if you give me $10, God will give you $100 back. Sometimes God has people in different positions. Some are wealthy, like Sandy. Some are poor, like Mark. And some are in between. See, God has us in different proportions. Ain't you glad everybody's not the same? God gives us what He knows we can handle, and not more. Let me leave you with this. Shortly after World War II came to a close, Europe began picking up the pieces. Much of the old country had been ravished by war, and ruins were everywhere. It was just a devastating sight to see. Perhaps maybe one of the saddest sights of all was all the little orphan children. Parents had been killed, and all these little orphan children were running around. Early one chilly morning, an American soldier was making his way back to the barracks. That was over in London. And as he turned the corner in his Jeep, he spotted a little lad with his nose pressed up to the window of a pastry shop. Inside was a cook kneading dough and making a fresh batch of donuts. Kind of like what Sister Martha did this morning. The hungry boy stood there at that window, staring. Smiles coming down his face. A dirty face, ragged clothes, standing there with his nose pressed up against the glass, looking at those donuts being made. The soldier's heart went out to this little orphan boy. Didn't know his name or anything. He felt kind of bad for him, so he walked up and he said, "Son, would you like to have some of those?" The little boy looked up at him and said, "Oh, yeah, I would." So the American soldier stepped inside, bought a dozen donuts, put them in a bag, walked outside to where the lad was standing in in that foggy, cold London morning and handed that little boy that bag of donuts. He smiled, handed the little boy the bag, and said, "Here you are, son." And as he turned to walk away, he felt a tug on his jacket, on his coat. He looked down, and there's that little boy. The little boy looked up at him and said, "Mister, are you God? You're never more like God than when you're giving." Jesus Christ, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. We're to give to others as God has given to us. Let's stand to our feet. What can you bring the gift to the King of Kings and Lord of Lords? I believe the first thing we need to give him is ourselves. If you've never been saved by the grace of God, today would be a perfect day to say, "God, I want to give you the gift of my heart. And I want you to come in and be my Lord and my Savior. Lord, I want you to be my King and my Lord." Maybe you're here today and you've not been a giver. You've not been giving the way God has blessed. See, we can't take it with us when we die. Why don't we use it for God's glory while we're here? You're never more like God for what you give. Would you give God your time? Would you give God your talent? Will you give God your treasure? Those three things. If we gave those three things to God, you'd be surprised how much easier it is to worship the King. And we bow our heads today. Heavenly Father, thank you for being with us today. God, let us bring gifts fit for a king today. As Joseph's brothers did, God, they brought those gifts in. God, as Joseph looked at it, the emotions that racked his heart of seeing his brothers, his little brother. Oh God, this season, I think we forgot, God, what you've given to us. God, of being born of a virgin, living a sinless life, dying on an old rugged cross for our sins, being buried, rising again the third day. Praise God, a promise made that you'd come back and receive us unto yourself. Lord, if there's one person here today that's not been saved, I pray that they can give you their heart and life today. God, if there's somebody here today, Lord, that's grown cold and indifferent, Lord, I pray that they learn to give themselves, their time, their talent, and their treasure back to you. We, God, and bless, Lord, we pray. As we get ready to sing this verse of invitation, Lord, we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen. Would you stand 161? got something to give the kids. But he truly is worthy of our gifts, honor and our praise. And don't forget tonight, we will be having a Christmas play here. The kids have worked hard. The adults will work with them all the last few weeks to get this Christmas play. Come and honor them by being here tonight. They're going to have some finger foods after service tonight.
Yes, and if you don't know what you're bringing, the sign-up list is out here.
The message is actually the Christmas play, so I won't be preaching tonight. Isn't that a blessing?
Amen.
Always ask the kids Merry Christmas. So I just stopped.
If we could have a couple men go ahead and move the pulpit and stuff to the side for us, that would be greatly appreciated.
Amen. So me and we need to help moving some of this. I just took some weight off of it.
I got it on tape.
So we'll be back tonight. Anything else that need to be done real quick?
I think that's it.
Okay, listen.
Yeah, the people in the Christmas play is gonna do a dress rehearsal today at 3:30. But if anybody can run and grab a bite to eat and come on back to the church and try to be here by 2, we gotta get set up for the Christmas play. So we can use help.
So if you can help, come on back. That will be some of your time.
You're not going to that.
Talent. Treasure that you can invest in God today. And it's not, by the way, it's not one day of the week we give God our time and our talent and treasure. Yes. Hey. 24 hours a day.
And invite people tonight. The kids have worked really hard.
Oh, by the way, Greg has showed up.
Earlier than ever.
Right. When did you get here?
Right as you was finishing up.
Yeah.
But we did want to, he probably don't know yet, we honored those. Okay. Amber don't want me to tell you. So we're glad you're here today. Let's bow our heads and just
So you're going to keep it.
be back tonight. Father, thank you. Amen.
I done told him.